Happy New Year! Welcome to 2019 and welcome back to The Oldish. As always, I am your host, Karen Brown, the publisher and editor of The Oldish, and I am so glad to welcome you back for this brand new year. Did you have a lovely holiday? I hope so. I want you to stay tuned with us for the next two shows. So this week we're going to be talking about New Year's resolutions, specifically tailored to older adults. And on next week's show, we're going to be dealing with some questions and answers that have come in from our viewers over the past several months. We're going to knock those off, and if you've got anything you want to know, send them in to us, and we'll make sure that they get included. So let's start right now. This is not going to be a surprise to you. Resolution number 1, eat better food. Yeah, eat better food. You know, I was watching the news this morning and the new recommendations for diets for 2019 have come out. So the diets that are best for heart health, for diabetics, for weight loss, and so on. The overall best diet for all of those is the one that it's been for the past few years, the Mediterranean diet. Okay? Heavy on fruits and vegetables, olive oil, fish. You can have a little bit of wine. That's good. But overall, I think the resolution definitely is to eat better food. Read the labels and know what you're eating. Get back to scratch cooking. If you're not a scratch cook, or if you've gotten a little lazy with that, it can sometimes happen. Get back to scratch cooking. Reduce the sugar. Sugar is definitely the enemy. Try to eat less carbs. Okay, in the Mediterranean diet, you are allowed some whole grain carbs, but carbs in general, not a great thing. They're not as evil as sugar. But eat better food. Exercise at least 150 minutes every week. So that's 30 minutes for each of 5 days, or a little bit more than 20 minutes if you do your exercise every day of the week. That's not so bad, eh? And you can walk on a treadmill, which is what I do. You could take a Tai Chi class, a yoga class. You could go dancing. You could ski if you are a winter enthusiast. I'm not a winter enthusiast, so skiing is not my thing. But dancing sounds like fun. Dance like no one's watching. All right? Number 3, be social. Up that social game of yours, because social isolation is not a good thing. It has been described as the number 1 health enemy of our day. It's a very bad thing. People tend to get isolated, they get depressed, they don't talk and exercise their vocal cords. They tend to sit somewhere in a chair and watch endless rounds of game shows on TV. Get out there and be social. Get together with some friends for coffee. Make a movie night. You know, I remember when my kids were young, I had friends we all had young kids, and we would do a movie night once a month, and we'd take turns hosting it at one another's houses. And it was just a great chance to get together. In my neighborhood, also, we do a fairly social routine on a fairly regular basis. We've got some neighbors that get along really, really well, and we do a Christmas dessert party. I host the neighborhood Super Bowl party. I don't know a thing about football, but like a lot of you, I like the commercials. I like the halftime show. Love the food. And it's just great social interaction. So you don't have to do the same thing every day, but you should do something every day to be social. And if worse comes to worse, if you are a shut-in because of weather or other circumstances, you can FaceTime or Skype with somebody. It's not ideal. It's not the same as face-to-face interaction, but it's better than nothing. Okay, so get that going. Number 4, advocate. Straighten up your backbone and learn to advocate. Advocate for yourself. Advocate for somebody to whom you might be providing caregiving services. Advocate within your community, and advocate against ageism, which is something that is fairly pervasive in our society. You know, ageism is something that is held against people merely for doing something that they can't help doing. So, fight against that. Make sure your voice is heard, because just because you're growing older doesn't mean you don't have something to say, and it doesn't mean that you don't deserve to be listened to. So, advocate, advocate, advocate. Engage your mind every day. Read newspapers, do puzzles like the crossword puzzle or Sudoku, or any kind of word puzzles that you might find on your iPhone or any other kind of device that you like to use. I know I have one that I like to do. It's a bit of a word scramble, and it gives you 6 letters, and you have to make words out of it, and it's really fairly challenging. Online, you can play games like Scrabble with other people. Always be safe online, but you can play those games with other people who live in faraway places. So make sure you engage your mind, learn a new language. Now there's something. I've often thought that I should restart my French, because it's something that here in Canada we take in school. But once you leave that high school French, you don't really use it so much unless you travel a great deal to French-speaking countries. I also travel a great deal to Italy, so I'm debating French, Italian. Well, we'll see. Make a medication checklist. Now, you don't have to use ours, although we do have one for members who subscribe at theoldish.com. It's a free membership. You don't need to worry. But when you're filling out something like a medication checklist, it's none of anybody's business. So we do need that to be behind a firewall and something that only you have access to. We don't even have access to it. You make your own account with your own password, create a medicine checklist there with your membership. You need to have that. If you don't use ours, make one of your own. You always need to have a current list of the medications that you're taking, the ones that your doctor is prescribing, the ones that you buy off the shelf. So if you buy and regularly use a stomach antacid, an ibuprofen, aspirin, anything at all, you need to make sure that is on the list, because like anything else that you put in your mouth, there's a chemical interaction with everything else you put in your mouth. And your doctor needs to know what's happening inside your body. Okay? Medication checklist, very important. When you get it done, print out a copy, take it to your next medical appointment with your healthcare team, and have them review it. Make sure that all the medications there are medications you should be taking, and that they are at the levels that you should be taking them at. Okay? Take steps to prevent a fall. That is a really important piece, because falls are something that are going to impact the majority of people over the age of 65 this year. So in 2019, if you are over the age of 65, the chances are better that you will fall than that you will not fall. So take steps to make sure that you protect yourself in every possible way. By doing that, I mean, take a class in Tai Chi or yoga. So this goes back to the exercise piece, but it is also good for your balance. Tai Chi and yoga are very good for your balance. Also, look around your house. Pull up those scatter rugs. Those are bad things, scatter rugs. Get rid of them. Make sure your cords for your lamps, your electronic devices are all tucked away someplace where you're not going to trip over them. Take a look at your shoes and your boots and your slippers and make sure that they have adequate tread on them. If you're wearing things on your feet that have shiny surfaces because they are such well-loved pieces of footwear that you can't bear to give them up, they're probably going to be a fall hazard. Those shiny surfaces mean slipping. So you want to make sure that you trade in the shiny surfaces and get some good tread. Yes, even inside the house. So many falls happen inside the house, it's not even funny. So make sure you do that. If you're prone to falls, take steps to prevent the injury that might occur as a result of a fall. So by that, I mean learn how to fall. There was an article that was done very recently on theoldish.com about a study that was done on a tuck and roll program, which teaches people how to fall better to prevent injury. If that's not available to you, or if that's not something you can kind of catch the hang of, consider hip protectors. The brand that we recommend is Hip Saver Hip Protectors, but you should always make sure that you protect yourself, because a fall can be devastating. A hip fracture, beyond devastating. It can change your life in a heartbeat. You want to make sure that you are advocating for yourself by protecting yourself. Last but not least, learn how to ask for help. That's a tough one for a lot of people. You know, as we get older, we need help hauling heavy things around, reaching heights, doing things that we used to do and not even think about in years gone by. You know, I can think about a friend of mine who lives in the same town where I live, and he is definitely an older senior, and every year he gets out his ladder and he cleans the outside of his windows. Well, this year he fell off the ladder, and he did some pretty serious damage to himself. His adult son, who's in his 40s, who lives 3 blocks away, will now be cleaning his windows for him because he can't manage. But things like washing the windows, trimming hedges, dusting those high surfaces, putting up your Christmas decorations, trimming hedges, anything at all, changing light bulbs in your ceiling fixtures, those kinds of things, you know, make a list. You're advocating for yourself by making sure you stay safe. And if you can't do them, or if your family maybe says to you, Mom, Dad, let me do that the next time, take them up on it, because you really want to keep yourself safe. Last but not least, I'm going to give you a bit of a self-serving New Year's resolution. I hope that you will join us for our weekly broadcasts of The Oldish. I hope that you will like and share our Facebook page, and I hope that you will read our content on theoldish.com. And I am absolutely convinced that you will find content there that you will find relevant to your life as you age, as you provide care for those around you. Please join us every week, every Wednesday at 12 noon. We will be here. Until then, please do remember that it takes a village to age a senior.